Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Alfonso. So my poster or my research is titled Effectiveness of Stimulus Prompt Fading Treatment Package on Spelling Accuracy for Students with ASD. So a little bit of an introduction to my research is the rationale behind the study is to improve the spelling accuracy of children with ASD, which can and have proven in my case to lead to some behavioral cusps. So my research question, exactly as stated, is: will a treatment package consistent of stimulus prompt fading with rearrangement of textual stimuli combined with transcriptional verbal operant increase spelling accuracy on spelling tests? Right. So I've chose spelling tests because that is the way that I will measure spelling accuracy, as we will see in the methods and the results. My participant is a 14-year-old male diagnosed with ASD, and the study, again, with the approval of the principal, the mother, and the teachers, was conducted in a school classroom with no other students inside, just me and the learner. So, as little environmental variables as possible to maintain control over my independent variable, right? So again, the reason I chose this specific research is because improving spelling accuracy can generalize reading and create coherent words and sentences, right? So what I mean by that is teaching spelling allows you to create coherent sentences eventually as you create coherent words, which can lead to behavioral cusps such as being able to read, being able to understand, being able to know the meanings of these words, right? Which will develop to further academic skills, further academic improvement. Um, during my research, my literary review, it was very hard to find research in spelling, let alone spelling with kids with ASD, as is not something that is usually done. So few research has been done in spelling accuracy, again, specifically for children with ASD, let alone using my technique of stimulus prompt fading and my combined package. The research that I was able to find and managed to find reassembles techniques such as shaping, right? Very similar to that. As you can see, my references are something that I kind of used, which is sounding out of to improve spelling in young children by Mann, as we can see again in my references. So now we're getting to the good part. The method I used was basically an ABAB withdrawal design with two probing sessions, as we can see in my graph, which by the way, my client's or my learner's name is one, which is a pseudonym. Well, obviously, due to HIPAA, I will not violate HIPAA here. The independent variable, again, was the stimulus fading with the rearrangement of textual stimuli and transcription of verbal operants. And my dependent variable was just spelling accuracy. That's what I'm going for. That's how I wanted the data to be collected. That's how I want it to be tested. I explained here that the data will be collected based on letters of the word placed in order and percentages calculated with 10 words each trial, right? So what I mean by that is imagine the word, one of the words that later used was actually cold, right? Cold has 4 letters and it's spelled COLD. Now, if I go ahead and especially in my baseline, I give the word to my learner and my learner spells CODL, right? For some reason, or my learner just didn't know how to place them together. That will give me 2 words in order and 2 out of order, which is 2 out of 4, 50%, right? I do that for every single word in one trial. It's 10 words exactly. And then I average them out and it gives me a very, very steady data on spelling accuracy. And that's why my data is very steady across all the sessions and all the phases. The baseline will consist of the spelling test without the intervention. Again, this spelling test is the 10 words run against 5 trials. Each trial is 1 word, right? And just so you guys know, the words were not in order. I don't go in order, right, of each word. Eventually they'll lead to memorization, and the client could have, or the learner could eventually just know which one it is. I do it at random every single trial. I start with the word here, then the word over here, and then I just keep going on at random until I complete all 10. And I do the same thing for the second one, but I completely random orders. I don't even know the order. I just go at random, and it makes the data very reliable. And then the intervention would include the treatment package for each word. Once the treatment package has been implemented, the same spelling test will be administered. So for the intervention, each word will receive the treatment package. So I will go through each word, teaching it with this treatment package, which is stimulus prompt fading. I will start with the full word, which is textual stimuli right in front of him in the paper. And the description of verbal operant was telling the client spell this word, right? So he can hear the word at the same time he's seeing it. And then with stimulus prompt fading, I'll slowly fade, then I'll split the word in half, then I'll take 1 letter away, and then I'll keep saying it until the point where I go ahead and rearrange the entire texture stimuli. So for the word cold, I will split each letter and put them in different orders. And the client, I will say it's spell code, and we have to put them in order, and I'll calculate my percentage based on that. I will do it for every word, and once I do all the words, I will go ahead and implement the same spelling test, just for the same thing, but without me doing the treatment package at that point. I already did the treatment package, right? I did use during the treatment package And during the teaching of the word, I used a lot of prompting, a lot of reinforcement. I used a lot of reinforcement procedures as much as I could, so the client understood, or the learner knew that this was, the proper way to spell the word. Again, based on my results, during both baselines, the spelling accuracy, as we can see, decreased or have a decreasing pattern. I will explain the second baseline why it's a little bit higher. In the intervention phase, right? So the first baseline is completely raw data. I didn't even know where the learner was standing at until I took the baseline myself. And based on it, the first baseline, once we go to the treatment package, we can go ahead and deduce that the intervention achieved and exceeded my expectations. It achieved the expected results and it exceeded my expectations. And what I mean by that is it achieved mastery criteria, which I did not expect whatsoever. The probing sessions after that, which we'll get to now, which is towards the end, also confirmed retention of the skill. In the probing session, there was no treatment package. There was just, imagine it as a baseline in 2 different days at 2 random times. I went ahead and probed, and the client knew how to spell. I even tried, just for my own curiosity, to do it without the textual stimuli or without the transcription of every operant, and the stimulus prompt fading, just basically spell this out loud. The learner went ahead and did that perfectly fine. So a little bit about the discussion. Again, the initial baseline shows the raw data of the 10 words. After the intervention was implemented for both interventions, we can see that there was, again, a functional relation. We can see that the mastery criteria was basically reached. I do want to go ahead and explain baseline number 2 a little bit because it's something I hypothesized during all of my team meetings, since throughout the entire process it was the same words. Based on number 2, I did expect to be higher, as the client already had an idea on how to spell all these words, right? What's interesting, which I didn't expect and I did see happening, and I should have expected but I didn't, is that we see a decreasing trend on baseline number 2. And my theory for that, which again I will have to test if I wanted to pursue this further, my theory for that is that since there was no reinforcement or no prompting during this baseline, the learner just kind of didn't see what was happening, didn't understand that if it was wrong or right, or correct or incorrect, and just kept misplacing them to see if I give him a reinforcement or not, right? So it will see the decreasing trend, which was something, again, I didn't expect. Quick treatment package for intervention number 2, it's as expected, mastery criteria after the intervention and probing session just shows retention of the skill. By myself after, by the way, I did implement 5 more words just to test, and I got the same results, but that was more of a personal thing. This is something also that I will be using further with my learner. Again, Juan is a pseudonym, just so you guys know. So again, to confirm functional relation, intervention was withdrawn, which is the ABAB part of it. And we could see the functional relation was there. So implemented the intervention, I guess, shows mastery criteria. Now, so what are the implications of my research overall? So it's very important, right? Especially academically. A lot of the kids we work with are a little bit academically behind. A lot of them are placed in special programs, which don't push them academically very much. And it's from what I've seen, it could actually make it worse for them, not just overall in behavior, not overall in everything that we work with, but academically, it puts them very, very behind as compared to kids, even with ASD and their own age group, or typically developing kids, right? This research shows that it can be done, like that we can use specific treatment packages to improve certain behaviors or certain abilities in the learners that could develop behavioral cusp, actually improving other behaviors that you didn't even intend to improve. As I say, again, there's no concrete further data right now, and a lot of this needs to be peer reviewed, but I believe it does have major implications in the academics of kids, children with ASD, right? Now, that being said, this research, as I went on, does have a major limitation. Some limitations, but there's 2 major limitations that I did notice. The first major limitation is that this specific treatment package is very, 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 very tailored to this learner, right? On the entire program, we're being trained to become BCBAs, and this is single subject research. So we tailor a lot of what we do to whatever learner we're tailoring it to. And this specific treatment package in mind, I had it tailored to my specific learner, which meets the prerequisites to be able to run this intervention. Now, that's my second major limitation. There needs to be prerequisites met to be able to run this research, right? One of the prerequisites is very simple as knowledge of the alphabet. That's one of the prerequisites. But even a more major prerequisite before that is that the client needs to be verbal, it needs to be vocal, right? Because we have verbal operants, but it needs to be vocal, it needs to be able to speak the alphabet. It needs to be verbal in a lot of ways, right? A lot of the major verbal operants the client already needs to have, such as echoic, manding in any way, tacting. A lot of these things need to happen, especially if we want to develop behavioral cusp, such as finding the meaning, reading, and being able to put coherent thoughts together. A lot of this needs to have um, you know, previous prerequisites. So those are two major limitations. And again, it's very tailored. I know there's a lot of kids out there and a lot of children, especially with that have the diagnosis, that do meet this criteria. And if they do, I do believe this could really improve their life, not just their personal life, as then they will learn to read, they will learn to ask questions, they will learn to understand meanings, but also their academic life, where they will improve tremendously. And that is, in my opinion, again, it's not concrete facts yet. It is my opinion, but I believe it could be a tremendous help. So yeah, this is my research. I had a lot of fun doing this research, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys give me some feedback on it. Thank you so much for listening to my presentation, and have a good day. Go Sun Devils.